of this neighborhood. I got beat up in that alley.
You just don't know when to give up.
I could do this all day.
Do you have something against running away?
You start running, they'll never let you stop.
Using the shield and the shield fighting as difficult as you had thought it would be, it was a little bit easier, or
no? It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I got pretty comfortable with the shield pretty quick, you know, and it's a great weapon. You know, it's a really fun thing to use as a prop. So they really incorporated it well in the action sequences, and I had a blast using it.
This is awesome.
Thank
this
you.
was great, man.
Thank
And you know, I recently revisited The Rocketeer. They had a great screening over at the Capitan.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. You know, when you got this gig, were there any apprehensions or any fears on your behalf taking on, you know, something of the Marvel property, especially after doing The Rocketeer? I mean,
no, I mean, you know, the Marvel as a company is very supportive, and I wish more studios were, you know, had the Marvel way of working. Is they basically hire people and they let them do what they do. You know, they don't micromanage. But it's anything like this where there's such a huge fan base, there's going to be pressure.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to make a movie that would only appeal to the comic book fans or to, you know, fans of this kind of film. I wanted to have a much broader audience. So, you know, we spent about 5 months developing the story that, you know, we were able to sort of cherry pick the elements from all the various, the Brubaker series and going way back to the origins to take what we liked about those various iterations of Captain America and build them into one story.
Yeah, no, I like the way that just all gels together and you can see little bits and pieces from different storylines. I like that. What is it like to be part of the Marvel tapestry, you know, being a character that is in something that's like building over the last couple of years with Thor and now this and so on and so on?
Well, it's such an exciting time because it just feels like Marvel's going just bigger and better and from strength to strength, and it's a real honour to be part of the Marvel family. At first I was so excited to be given the opportunity, and then to get to those sets to see just, you know, how it gets made is extraordinary. The attention to detail and the how just the craftsmanship of these sets and the aircrafts and the cars, and it felt like I was walking into Disneyland every day.
Explain for, you know, the people who are going to be watching this that you know, when I describe who Bucky is, you know, to the people who don't know who Captain America is, they're like, oh, it sounds like Robin from Batman and Robin, but it's not. You know, I mean, Bucky has a different purpose. He serves a kind of different purpose. He's got like this kind of you know, friendship with Cap. Who is Bucky in this film to you? And
well, I think you know, I feel like Robin always made, you know, Robin was, you know, they shared the same goal, which was to fight evil and so on, and they were. I feel like it's a little bit different than the situation because I think Bucky's still ultimately wanting to do what he wants to do, and he doesn't know exactly what that is yet. He just knows that Steve is somebody he needs to protect. So he's kind of he's the sidekick, yeah, maybe, but he's along with Steve because he's never going to let Steve be alone, especially if you grow up with a version of him that was 98 pounds and, you know, looking like a kid that's going to be run over by a butterfly. So
what I also like about it is the visual style as well, the production design elements. There's a lot of fleeting glimpses of, you know, some of the stuff that Hydra creates, like the tanks and stuff, but it's all larger than life. Can you talk about the design?
Yeah, well, we hired a guy by the name of Daniel Simon, who is he's a vehicle designer. He has a website called Cosmic Motors, and I think he was on the design team of the Bugatti Veyron. You know, he's just this amazing designer. And we said, we want this to look like it was built in the 40s, but we want it to be futuristic 40s. Futurism from the 40s. What might the future have looked like if you were in 1942 and you could build anything you wanted? If you had the facilities that Johann Schmidt has, what could you do? And I think he came up with just some amazing stuff. I mean, I love the cars and the you know, the vehicles and everything. He did a great job.
Just the attitude itself. I mean, she's got a lot of layers. You know, man. From one minute she's playing the you know, authoritative figure, and then she's blasting away on the streets with her handgun. You know, and it's like, that's great.
Yeah.
How did Joe get you there?
Well, he in the casting process, in the audition, he was saying that, you know, she's a strong woman, and she's capable of, you know, he's met her match with her, and Joe wanted to root her in something real, to make sure that she had an inner life and an emotional depth to her, so that that we, the audience, kind of cared about her kind of love story with him. And he was Joe was so lovely to work with. I mean, just would give me incredibly helpful notes, but also trust me and would love it if I came up with something different, and so it felt like a team effort.
Joe, I was talking to Joe earlier, he said that he read up on like some of the best moments of the Captain America comic book series, some of the Ed Brubaker stuff, some of the stuff before that. For you, what kind of research did you get into? Did you even hit the comic books at all, or did you go with Joe, whatever Joe's vision was?
Yeah, no, I did. Within the ballpark of what the script was, allowing me to do. I think I went back and just, you have to kind of get to know how it started and how it evolved, and I think it evolved. The Bucky character evolved for the better. Ultimately, just he became much more real, in the sense that as opposed to a young naive kid, he kind of has goals of his own and flaws, and just he's more of a person. In the latter comics I thought.
The surprising thing too is the handling of the violence and the war aspects of it. Did you ever feel that you were either going too far or holding it back? Because people do get killed in this movie.
They do, they do. But it's the tone of the movie overall. The tone I was going after was very similar to Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, maybe, but it's, I think you have to be grounded in the reality of the world that you're creating and you're immersing the audience into, and once they buy that, you can get away with quite a bit. The violence is, it's violent, but it's not gratuitous violence. I mean, it's violence for, to advance the story and to move the story along. And it's, the movie's PG-13, like all Marvel films are. Maybe pushes the edge a little bit here and there, but I think it's a fun ride.
To me, he represents what's good in people. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, maybe a little cliche, but he really is. He's a representative of what's right. There's very few people in the world who do the right thing just because it's the right thing to do, and that's pretty noble and that's pretty honorable. And I think he's incredibly selfless. He puts himself last, and that's I think the theme is if you're a good person. And you're a good person for the right reasons, those traits are rewarded.
You're late.
Nobody's perfect.